So, hello and welcome to Stationeers. This is just a quick video just to show the fun and games I had trying to get these things to track the sun, and the mistakes that I made along the way. Originally I had built one of these and put the sun tracking card, solar control card in there, and which I got two of by accident, and then wired it all up, etc. It was actually over here. It was somewhere here, and it didn't function correctly. I took these this way because I was actually going to plan on having this on its own system, because in here we can see every device that's in the base, including the wall lights are listed, even though I would have thought it would have been data, but whatever. Anyway, this was actually the fun part to set up, because you have to, there was a state 1, but I had to delete it.
Low.
And we'll show you that when the sun comes up, apparently. Because I'm going to be working on this, so I can make steel. I've actually been out mining, and I've got a crap ton of iron to go, some coal there. Apparently that was lead. Some coal, quite a lot of it. Some gold, silicon, copper, more copper, and then I need to go out and get ice, and the area around my base is actually starting to look a little bit of a mess because there's craters appearing everywhere. So basically this was my mistake. I'd originally put it here, the sensor, and because it was on a flat surface and it was reading a 90 up to 90 and then back down from 90 the opposite way, it didn't function correctly, so I put it on the panel here, but this was a fully constructed block, and sadly these sensors don't read the sun when it's on a fully constructed block. Once the sun gets out overhead somewhere, starts shining down at an angle, like a 20-degree angle from above, the sensor loses contact with the light and it goes off, and then they stop tracking the sun. So it has to be a level 1 or half constructed block so the light can actually pass through it. And because I had set a sensor up on this side and tagged them as sensor 1, sensor 2, and this one would obviously read the sun coming down the opposite way. This was when this was a full block, and what would happen is when it got to this, I will show you on the computer in a minute what I mean, but once the sun reached 100 degree of 100, this one would read, would start reading after that, and would start its count, because this one would start at 90. These solar panels would end at 90. There'd be 50%, so they'd be facing directly above at 90. I had to change that to 80 degrees, and then this would take over at 90. But the problem was it was still reading from this one as well, and then the solar panels just freaked out and kept going from 100 to 0% in rotation, so they had to go. This was going to be only for the airlock, but so yeah. Anyway, so half a block or half constructed block is a must for a solar panel, for the sensor, and it must be on the actual side of the block. It can't be flat face down or on the horizontal surface. It has to be on the side of a block, either facing the sunrise or sunset, either one. And then these they ain't tracking the sun. Why ain't you tracking the sun? Is it because that machine hasn't come back on, or is it because that machine went off and it lost its... Yeah, okay, fair enough. So you're not on that one anymore, you're on, well, you'll be coming to this one, so let's see if that fixes the problem. I desperately need to get batteries, and apparently it doesn't. Okay, fine. Oh, it does. There you go. So now they will follow the sun. I need to get the larger batteries, the actual station battery, at least one of them, so that I don't run out of power during the night. I have a 10 and in fact I can turn my light off now, can't I? Save power in my suit, because I've got to back down here, switch my batteries out if that one's fully charged, which it is. Fun and games. And that one will charge up, and that will carry on following the sun. So while we're down here, so how the sensor works, the daylight sensor, is it reads 180 degrees, and the solar panels can only turn to 100%, 0 to 100, so 10 turns. One rotation is worth 10, and so it can only rotate 10 times. So it you basically have to divide 10 by 180, and obviously that gives you 18. So for every 18 degrees, the panel will rotate, or the panels, for however many you've got set up. So if we go to the very first one, which is state 2 now, yeah, that's state 11, and let's hide that because that gets in the way. So daylight sensor, set it to solar angle, more than, so and then 18, and then whatever solar panels you've got, get your labeler and label them first, so you know which one's which. I've got obviously 4, and this one's the airlock solar panel, so I know when I remove that, and once it reaches 18 degrees it will rotate to 10, and you have to change these because they're on horizontal, you have to change them to vertical, pardon me, and then 36 for the next rotation, a degree rather, sun degree, or degrees of the sun, and then rotates to the next level, level 20, and so on, and you have to do that all the way down till you get to 180. So 108, 126, 154, 172, 179, and the reason I kept it at 179 was because when it got to 180 it didn't work, and I set it to 179 to see if it will actually rotate back to 0, ready for the following day, and hopefully it does. We will find out. That battery's fully charged, which is a bonus. So because the solar panels will be producing more power, because obviously more solar panels will be added as and when needed, I went with the large cable to give that protection into this, but I will have to put a power controller, so I can limit the amount of power that will be pushed through this cable into this box to 5 amps, and then it'll be 5 amps continuous through all of these, because these can only support up to 5 megawatts, otherwise they blow, which is not fun. But the airlock isn't fully done. It's getting there though. I've got to put the pipe in, but I haven't actually hooked it all up, because, well, I don't want to actually have to worry about oxygen just yet. I'm more interested in getting steel sorted out, so I can actually produce larger batteries, and then I can fill this up with large batteries, put one on the beacon, and not have to worry so much. In fact, I need to find out if there's an alternative way of actually setting up a remote a wired beacon, so that you don't have to rely on this. So if it runs out of power, you're screwed, and it has happened to me. The other thing I need to do is find out how to refill the propellant, because my jetpack is languishing that. I've brought these in ready for when I do seal this base off, but I don't want to seal it off until I've actually figured out how I want it all to be. This was just originally it was going to be a big square, and then it was like, no, that just looks ugly, and now it looks even uglier. So there's that. I did put this second amp, this second box here, because I didn't want too much power coming through into here, and I wanted this on its own separate power line, so they didn't drain power from this battery. It would drain it from the battery here, which would not drain power from this battery, because power can't be pushed back through this cable. It can only go one direction. So once it gets to this box, it can't go back. And the same for this, it can't be, once it hits the charger, it can't reverse out back into here. In fact, it can only go from here in one direction, that's straight to this. But these aren't turned on because I need a battery for this. In fact, what I should do is just stick that in there, shouldn't I? And switch it on. So that's actually charged, because I don't use this yet, I use that. In fact, what I should do is start throwing my large battery in there as and when I need to charge it up, and just switch out between the small and large, so I don't have to interrupt the process of that machine or that computer. So once you've built that, you need to build a motherboard, a Logix motherboard, and stick it in there, and that's basically it. I mean, it's getting there. So that's just an update, I guess, of where I am at, and these solar panels should solar panels are playing up. Interesting. So they're stuck at 80%. So you didn't rotate back. Lovely. Why is that? Maybe I need to add at the end of the 11th. So you didn't actually go from this to this. Is it because that needs to be 90? Because it can only go from 0 to 100. Oops. But theoretically that doesn't need to, that should have been 100. I think I'm missing some, because that's already 90 there. That does need to be 100, see? You know, in all fairness, I'm getting sick of seeing solar panels. Sick of actually seeing this computer doing all this crap. I spent ages trying to work out why my solar panels wasn't working yesterday. And then what about if it's set to 0, and then I wonder if that would work. Don't know if that will work, we'll try it. So that's state 11, and apparently this is state 11, so we don't want that. No, cancel. Oh, okay. State. Well, what about if we name this one 1? Because we've lost 1. So we could do that, couldn't we, and have this, so it's, of course that ain't gonna work. This goes to 1. in which we have condition, set the solar, daylight sensor, where are you there? Follow angle greater than, well, if it's greater than 0, will that work, I wonder? And then 4 solar panels. Panel 1, 2, 3, and the airlock. That's the daylight sensor, I don't want that. Change all these to vertical. I wonder if that will work. And then afterwards you will go to state 2. Thank you. So your next state would be state 1, and now go to state, that's state 1. Then that was set to go to state 2. Close. See, the problem is when you remove the hotbar, you lose your little cursor, so you don't know where you're actually clicking. So go to state 2. That one to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 and so on. Okay. 8, 9, 10, which is where it was stuck. And of course will you stay on that state because you're reading the angle as 0? Or are you going to go and take the piss and rotate the other way and mess me about? Of course we should have actually left one of these fully rotated, shouldn't we? Just to test it beforehand. That way. Let's see. It's weird because it's like everything's gluey. You get stuck to things easily. So rerun that program, see if it now has that. No. You're not going to rerun it? Yes, rerun it multiple times. If it doesn't work, you just keep repeatedly bashing the computer. It's much more acceptable than bashing your head against a wall. Hurts less. Okay, well, we'll find that out in the morning, I guess. And as you can see, how fast the batteries drain in this place. But I can switch that battery over with that one, and as soon as I've got the ability to make the large battery, in-house battery, we will be well away. So until next time, thank you for watching, and hopefully this helps somebody. I know I had a lot of fun trying to get this to work, and as you can clearly see, I haven't fully got it there yet. So yeah, maybe I'll do another update video at some point, but until then, take care, see ya.